Hello, ladies. This is what I've been trying to get to. When you feel anger, there are 3 stages of anger. The first stage of anger is violence. This is what a lot of us know about. The second stage of anger is communication. This is where we vocalize and we vent and we complain, we whine, or we talk and we figure it out and we go to talk therapy. That's the communication stage. The third stage of anger is doing. It's change. It's applying the anger into kinetic energy called change. And that's what this is. I've been really, really angry for a very long time. We are talking about the man's rape culture. Now, my experience is 100% white man who are ignorant. And in a lot of cases, just white man. There are some exceptions. However, 100% of the white man who has approached me romantically, violated my consent, raped me. Yeah, that's it. Those are your options. Ooh, those are your options. If romance is involved, either they violate the consent and or they rape you. And I have so much fucking data. It's disgusting. In fact, I have 100% data on this, where how many times do you have to run a physics report or a research paper before you go, okay, I'm getting 100% statistics and I have over 3,000 reference points and the data's not changing. So I was concerned that this was a racist issue. Like, am I being racist? And I got the statistics. So I contacted my Black girlfriend and I asked her, I said, I really need a non-white woman's point of view. And she said to me, it's in the other cultures too. However, you're a white woman, so this is your white privilege, or I hate the word privilege. It's that they are self-preservation of this can go badly for me if, and that's her perspective on it. She's like, so what we see, we as in the Black community, she explained, is you don't fuck with a white woman because it can go bad. So when they speak to a white woman, it's with more respect, of course, than you see with a white man. And I'm like, okay, so that's going on the Black side of it. Here I am on the white side of it going, wow, they're really nice and respectful. Now, okay, and I'm like, all right, I get that. Thank you for that absolute. Now I'm starting to see the big picture, like the other side of it. So back in this culture, in the white culture, what we see is you're white man's stuff. You're their stuff. Now, I have seen white men coaching each other on this, literally coaching each other on how to rape a white woman and why you should focus on white women so that they don't be attacked and or beaten up or killed by any other race, because you can't fuck with their women without them actually caring about their women. And white women are easy targets because literally they've said this, because white men doesn't care about their white women. They don't. So you can target a white woman. If anything, they'll trade them for a cow, which is exactly what I experienced. So it's 100% it is 100% the concept of you are their stuff. And it's not about you or your autonomy. It's about don't touch my fucking stuff. This is for the formula white man plus ignorant plus dishonest about your intent, about their romantic intent. It is that formula. If you throw intelligence in there, the formula doesn't uphold. As soon as a white man is intelligent or educated, this does not apply. It is only to the stupid or the uneducated white man. Now, if you are from a different culture and you've experienced this, I can only speak about my experience. It does not invalidate yours. I just can't comment knowledgeably from this side of the coin. I'm only giving you my side of the coin. Now, and my girlfriend was explaining to me that there is something out there now where there's a bear meme where if you had to choose between a man or a bear, who would you run toward? And I'm like, the bear. The bear is so much safer. Oh my God, is the bear so much safer? And a lot of women said the bear. And the white men were freaking out going, well, that's not, no. I have never, ever been safe where there is a white man who is romantically interested in me. Instant danger. It is so embedded into me that my intuition has learned it, has internalized it. and I'm analyzing is this prejudice? Is it racism? And my girlfriend came right out and she's like, absolutely not. No. And she goes, the reason why is because you have statistical mathematical data to back it up. Second of all, it's not fear-based. No, it's not fear-based. I'm angry because it's all over the place and it's allowed. She goes, yeah, yours is not fear-based and it's not a generalization based on of nothing. She goes, so no, this is not racism. So I'm going, all right, Black woman has confirmed that this is not racism. This isn't prejudice. There. So I can finally put this to rest and say, this is the truth of our culture. Now, this is where I put the gloves on and I start talking about a solution and how you can manage and deal with this. This is the stuff that I have invented to keep myself safe. First, I moved to New York City because it's not here. It's not tolerated. Oh my God, if you were to treat a white woman, any woman like that, no, it's not allowed. You are not allowed to treat a woman like that. And if you do, you've got 10 New Yorkers who are standing up to punch you in the face for being an asshole. It's not allowed. People are not possessions here. Now, I imagine there are pockets of culture where there are households where that is practiced, but definitely not in my circles. For the first time in my life, when I am walking down the street of New York, I am not wolf whistled at. I am not approached romantically. I am not assaulted, and my consent is preserved by strangers. I've had one incident by an ignorant white man on the street who thought he would try to pursue me romantically. And sure enough, he turned out to be a fucking asshole. One. And there's like 5 million people in this city. So one person in all the people that I've run into where I've had this problem. That is how rare it is. Now, that being said, I was raped by a white man a year ago who pretended to be my friend, who used my birthday and a group of people to roofie me, lure me in, and rape me. And again, very much that was actually his. He has a process and he trains other men how to do it. You heard me right. So we're going to go ahead and go over how to survive the rape culture and how to manage it, how to prepare yourself for it, and how to get around it. The reason why is because, and this is literally Triadic Healing, a survival, I don't want to call it a survival course. This is abuse proofing you to become aware of it. So the first thing I'm going to say is listen to your instinct. If you don't feel good about it, then don't. Second of all, let's get real about this, because this is really what matters. Is calling it prejudice or racism is actually nurturing the environment for the abuse to occur. And that's what I learned. I forced myself to have an open mind, forced myself to embrace non-generalization, and that's one of the things that got me raped. I ignored my instinct. I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I forced myself to be open-minded. I was sitting at a table about 1.5 years ago, and there were all the women at the table. I was the only one at that time who had not yet been roofied. 90%, everyone at that table, every woman said, I'd been roofied. One man had been roofied because he had, well, half roofied, because he had drunk a roofied drink meant for another woman. Well, meant for a woman. And he ended up getting the roofie, but he didn't get raped. And we all talked about if they'd been roofied. And I was the only one at that table at that time who had not been. 6 months, a year later, I was roofied. And I'm going, well, that just changed that statistic to 100% of women at that table. And there were like 10 of us. 100% of the women at that table had been roofied and raped. Welcome to white man culture. So let's go through this. It's not prejudice anymore. We live in a white culture. Here's how it works. Bottom line is, I did not consent. Get used to those words. Really put them in your mouth. I did not consent. Consent does not mean sexual. Consent means agree to connect. Connection is when you have a conversation with someone. You're sitting here interacting with me right now. You are listening to my words. There was consent that occurred. I did not force this on you. No one forced you to listen to this video. You chose to click into this video. By doing so, you received me. I did not get forced to sit here to talk to you about this today. This is a consensual connection. I've consented to record it. I've put it up there for your information. You have consented to click on this video to receive it. This is what we refer to as a consensual connection. Consensual connection is the transfer of energy to another person via the words out of my mouth. Bottom line, this is human connection via emotional transaction. It is the passing of my words and energy to you so that you receive my energy through my words, so that we are now connected. If you interact with this video, you have now reciprocated and given that connection back to me, which, because it's on YouTube, I have now consented to receive. Thank you very much. And we are now warmly connected with each other. When you choose somebody to entertain you, when you choose a conversation, when you choose a book to pick up, you are consenting to receive that energy. Energy rape is a real thing. We are going to be talking a lot about energy rape. Now, if you say energy rape to a Neanderthal, and we're going to call them the modern Neanderthal, this is the way, we're going to say man, because I don't know if it's for the other cultures, but I'm just going to say the rape man. And this is it, is the rapey man or the rape man. This is modern Neanderthal. This is the person who is so stupid that they don't even know what consent is. We have to teach them. So we're going to start by simply saying very boldly, I didn't consent to this connection. I did not consent to this conversation. I did not consent to this connection. Now, a connection can be verbal, it can be educational, it can be informational, it can be entertaining connection, it can be a friendship connection, and it can be a sexual connection. It does not matter if it's sexual or not. Non-consent is non-consent. And at the end of the day, someone's power of choice, hang on to those words, someone's power of choice has been violated. And when you lose your power of choice, it compromises your self-authority, it takes away your confidence, it takes away your self-esteem. It leaves you with no proof of concept that you can self-preserve yourself. It tears you down. It breaks you down. It leaves you feeling insecure. It tears down your self-preservation. There is a whole lot of stuff that you can do to turn this around, to take back your power, preserve your power of choice. To do that, it's just learning. Learning is 100% the taking back of power, flipping the cards so that you are in charge. It's turning your rapist into your teacher. Students stand at higher authority over teachers. I have the physics to prove this. It is absolutely true. Because you can force a student to sit in a classroom, but at the end of the day, the student has to consent to open their mind to receive the lesson. So if you force a student in a classroom and the teacher is just sitting back there talking away, and you did not consent to be in that classroom, you're going to close your mind. I remember this one day, I was 8 years old. You know, I've wondered why I thought about this so much, and now I understand why. When I was 8 years old, I was in a school system where we had to fill out our own paperwork and then grade our own paperwork. We had a key. And my eyesight and my vision, in fact, I had multiple personality at this point, and I was not processing data properly. I had misaligned all of my answers, so my answers were misaligned. And as a result, I was marking right answers wrong answers right. The teacher, supervisor, saw me mark one of the wrong answers right. She grabbed me by the arm, left bruises, dragged me down the hall, put me in a room, and just stood there screaming literally inches from my face, telling me how dirty I was. Yeah, welcome to the 80s. Telling me how vile I was, how disgusting I was, how I was just like my brother who was a degenerate, how pompous and arrogant my family was. I fuzzied my eyes. I had the skill. I don't know if a lot of people have the skill. I have the skill where I can unfocus my eyes So I unfocused my eyes so I didn't even have to look at her because she made me look at her. So I unfocused my eyes so I couldn't even look at her. And then I walled up, closed my mind, and I thought this whole barrage of, you're a fucking asshole, you're wrong, you have no fucking idea, you have no right to be a teacher. And I'm just sitting here thinking about all this stuff in my head, walled up, closed off. Even though she was standing there literally inches from my face, screaming down at me, I had all the power, I had all the control, I had my mind walled up and preserved against her, and I had my eyes all fuzzied out, so I couldn't even look at her. The student has full power, 100%. When you learn how to take on and embrace the power of the student, oh, that's a skill. I'm going to be teaching it to you. It's the power of the student. The teachers, they have no power. They really don't. They can scream at you all they want. You're the one who gives them audience. The audience member, when it comes to theater and stage, it's the audience that has power, not the actor. The actor has to stand on stage and recite. You can get up off your ass and walk out. That's power. Welcome to the power of the audience. A student is the audience of a teacher. The teacher has to stand there and talk. You have the power to get off your ass and leave. I did that once. I was in my Spanish class. It was my senior year of high school, and there was this asshole bitch who was sitting there assaulting me, attacking me in the middle of the lesson while the teacher is giving a lecture. I don't tolerate that kind of abuse. I stood up in the middle of the class, collected my things, and left. I sat outside in the hall. I continued to listen to the teacher, took notes, followed the class. Afterward, I walked back into the classroom, apologized to the teacher, explained that that person was being a vile bitch. I don't tolerate abuse, and I needed to remove myself from the situation. I explained that I did sit outside in the classroom and listen and follow along, and I did take notes. But I did want to extend my apology that I needed to self-preserve myself in the middle of her class, and I apologize for leaving your class so abruptly. That's how it's done, people. That's how it's done. When you choose to accept and adopt the role of the student, you have so much power. You really do. That is the only position in the entire world where you gain all the power, is when you adopt the role of the student. It is full power. So when you have some asshole who's abusing you, demean them, put them down to the lowest status, a teacher. It is absolutely a truth that a teacher sits at the bottom. A good teacher knows this, which is why a good teacher will thank you for being in their class, which is why a good teacher will connect with you first and treat you with respect, because you don't have to be there. Even if you're forced to be there, you don't have to be there. So if somebody has forced you to connect in a sexual or non-sexual setting, and you've not chosen to be there, the moment you become a student, the moment you choose to step into that space, you have chosen to take all the power away from them and turn them into a demeaning little teacher. This is why philosophers taught at the bottom of the amphitheater. It wasn't for acoustic purposes. That was told by people who don't know what it is to be a teacher. Philosophers taught at the bottom of an amphitheater because that is the proper place for a teacher to teach. It is an understanding that when you want to inspire someone, you got to sit under their feet and fuel them up. If you want to inspire someone, you've got to be under their feet and elevate them. And you can't do that from the top. You got to do that under their feet at the bottom. Philosophers knew this. So whenever they gave a lecture or a talk, they would either sit eye to eye with their students, or they would sit underneath them in an amphitheater and elevate them. Some classes, some lecture halls, most lecture halls in universities are designed like this. They don't know it. They have long since forgotten power economics, that the true place of proper improvisation, of proper inspiration of a student is from underneath them while they look down on you, because you grace them. As a student, you grace the teacher with your audience. So when you are abused, when you are approached non-consensually, when you are forced to engage without your consent, the very first thing you need to ask yourself is, did I consent to this connection? Once upon a time, a gentleman would offer you or ask if they could approach you, as it should be, just like you should be asking their permission to approach and consent to them. It is 100% about a mutual consent on equal footing. If they are approaching you without your consent, they've got the upper hand. Take it away from them. In order to take it away from them, tell them, I did not consent to this connection. No, and shut it down. We're going to be walking over boundaries. We're going to be talking about communication. We're going to be talking about overcoming your fear and confronting people you are terrified of because you don't want to get beat or raped. Been there, done that. The word no will get you raped faster than anything where I came from. So we're going to be covering all of this. We're going to be walking you through how to navigate this, giving you the tools that you need so that you can navigate this safely, effectively, and properly. Learning how to deny access. Now, in the denying of the access, it's going to teach them to either back the fuck off, learn a lesson, smarten up, become educated about what consent means, or they're going to die alone, which is exactly what they deserve because they're so rapey. So we're going to walk you through this. I have a category of women that I have called A, B, C, and D women. And I have A, B, and C men. So we're going to break this down. This is a category that I use that has been very, very helpful in me understanding where people are in their mindset. The first one is an A woman. This is a woman who is born in slavery and she doesn't know it. She is a happy house elf. She is a house elf, a slave, and she is oblivious to her enslavement. I have known many A women. The next kind of woman is a B woman. I spent most of my life as a B woman. A B woman is a woman who is enslaved. She's a house elf and she's doby. She's well aware that she's a slave and she's trying to get her freedom. My mother is a B woman. My sisters are A women. They love being enslaved. They don't know they're enslaved, and they do everything at the beck and call of their slave owners, which is synonymous for husband upstate in New York. The flip side of all of this is the C woman. I am now a C woman. A C woman is a woman who is free, but she was raised in slavery. She's a domesticated slave that's been freed. Now, you might be new free. You might be enslaved mind free. You might be, I'm a free woman, I'm a C woman, but I'm looking for my next slave owner because I don't know how to turn off slave mind. I teach you how to turn off slave mind. I have mastered the art of dominating slave mind. I hate slave mind. And then there is the D woman. The D woman. The D woman is rare. It's a woman who was born free. I have only met less than a handful, 3 of these women. A D woman has never been owned by their father, never been owned by a brother, never been owned by a husband or a boyfriend. This is weird for me. I've only seen 3 of these women in my lifetime, and I'm like, you're a D woman, that's so weird. They are very different people, very, very different people. So the men are in the category of an A man and a B man. The C man is a rare treat. The A man is the slave owner. They are so fucking ignorant, fucking stupid, that they have no clue they are slave owners in most cases. In other cases, they are well aware of it and they encourage it and they teach it to each other. I've witnessed those conversations. At the end of the day, the A man wants a woman to be an A woman, expects the woman to be an A woman, and will abuse her, beat her, rape her if she is not an A woman. That is an A man. The B man is the passive woman respecting man. Passive is emphasized. He is the man who very much is aware of the abuse women have had, They want women to be free, but they're passive about it. They won't change their behavior. They will passively just stand beside women and let the women do whatever because they really don't know how to knowledgeably or intelligently maneuver this. If you are a man watching this, thank you. Thank you. Good fucking for you, really, truly. If you are a man watching this, you are probably a B man training yourself to be a C man. And my deepest respect for you. Really, that's rare. A C man. C man, well, I'll be blunt. I've known one. One. And he's my partner. A C man is a man who actually nurtures the freedom of a woman, nurtures her independence. He's not passive about the problem. He nurtures her independence and freedom. It is absolutely a beautiful thing. The C man educates himself about the situation, actively goes out of his way to make sure that if he does have a woman in his life, that she is fully nurtured, embodied, and encompass the spirit of the C and the D woman. He actively goes out of his way to nurture the C and the D woman. If she's a B woman or an A woman, the C man will do very little to approach them because they've got to help themselves. The A woman and the B woman know you've got to help yourself. There's no way out of it. You've got to help yourself. You've got to do it yourself. That's it right there. It wraps it up. The A man is easily the majority of men on the planet. And this is where things get really interesting with the concept of the dating sing. For me, the dating sing is a slave pedestal. I won't go back. I had this in my head for a very long time, like the last 2 years. I was like, I do not do the dating sing because it's not the dating sing for women. It's literally a slave market. The dating sing is a slave market to women. And no, fuck that shit. So once you start to, we're going to be covering all of this. We're going to be covering the slave market. We're going to be covering what the mentality is, the language used, how to find it. This is all about consent and becoming consciously aware of consent at all the different levels. And once you start to understand the full gambit of consent, how to recognize it, how to preserve it in yourself, how to preserve it in others, it changes your life. You learn an entirely new language. Now, I'm going to warn you, the more you learn this shit, the less narcissists you're going to have in your life. It's a side effect of learning this shit. Because the more you learn about consent and the more you put up boundaries to stop the non-consent, the more narcissists go, well, fuck this shit, and they walk away. Narcissists are slave owners. They are invisible slave owners. We have an invisible slave culture, and it's 100% the rape culture. People are like, oh, it's the rape culture. Oh, honey, it's a slave culture. Didn't you know? No, people don't know. So we're going to be breaking it down to you. We're going to be going over this. My children are moving stuff back and forth, and I have a window there, so you're seeing them passing through the light. And every time they walk by, there's a shadow. So if you're twitching because of it, I'm sorry. Usually I'm very conscious of it and I shut it down, but they're moving a room right now. So every time they walk by it, there's a shadow and I'm like, I'm sorry. But we're going to be breaking all of this down. I'm going to be covering all of these topics. It's going to be a huge course. I'm going to be addressing women of all cultures, 100%. But I solidly welcome C-men or aspiring C-men in this area. Absolutely. I'm going to be doing a few videos just for men. So if you are here as a C-man or aspiring C-man where you want to learn more about this, understanding what's going on with women, understanding the inside culture of women, this is a culture difference with women. And it will really open up to understand what we've been through, what you have seen, what you're seeing, what a lot of men have reported is it's invisible to them. So they're seeing the symptoms and they're going, I don't understand what's going on. And when you step into this space, you're going to start to understand what it is women are really up against, what the culture for women really is, what we say behind closed doors, the conversations we've had. I'm going to literally share all of it with you and show you. I have 40 years in this shit. I was raised by women who trained you to be obedient and submissive and silent. And I'm going to be talking about sex. I'm going to be talking about what kind of punishments we receive, what we live in fear of, how we have to change our mindset to navigate this, and what you can do as a C-man to nurture and become aware of it so that you preserve this space for the lady in your life and or the people in your life. I'm going to be talking about men, how to raise your daughters properly. And women, I'm going to be talking about how to select proper men. We're going to be talking about predator dating. And we're going to be covering the full gambit, everything that, like, I'm going to leave no stone unturned. So thank you so very much for your time. Thank you for joining me with us on this. I'm probably going to be doing a Facebook group that I'm going to tie into this. So as this comes out, as I start to rip it apart and pull it apart, I'm going to be tying narcissism in it, because narcissism is absolutely a huge chunk of this. And we're going to be ripping this apart, giving you the tools you need to problem solve, navigate this safely, and put an end to it. Now, my goal here is not to literally end it. My goal is to take away their victims by educating their victims. That's my agenda. So thank you so much, and may the kindest of words always find you.